Do you feel that your history in comedy has helped you be prepared to be a politician?
Well, I had a history in politics before I had a history in show business, to be honest. It was because Tony Blair's Labour Party left me at the turn of the century and I resigned from the Labour Party in 2001 that I then concentrated on building up the business of the Stand Comedy Club, which maybe some of your viewers will know from Edinburgh and Glasgow. So I did that for 12 years and built up a successful business. I have to say, I mean, I've never been a comic. I've never been any good at jokes. I always had to employ people to tell them for me. But it is like running a business, and the things that you learn in terms of organisation and how to promote things and how to communicate with people and do deals and organise and inspire people, they're all pretty transferable skills, to be honest. But I suppose I'm in the fortunate position that I had a career in politics before that, and now I've been able to go back to my first love. So yeah, I'm looking forward to bringing all of the experience I've gained in all sorts of different capacities to this job.
Great. And in 1996, you were in Masterchef.
You've done your research, haven't you?
I have.
Yeah. So yes, I was. It is a long time ago. That was when Lloyd Grossman used to present it, and I was on. I made the. In those days, they had what they called regional finals, and so I made the Scottish regional final of the programme. And but I was robbed. I should have won, but I was robbed.
What was it? What gave it away at the end?
Do you know what? I mean, I've said this before. It was the politics. My judges were Lloyd Grossman and a guy called Alan Ramsey, who your older viewers remember was a cricketer who led the campaign against the boycott of South Africa. Right? He was pro-apartheid, and Gordon Ramsay, who was an enthusiast for the Conservative Party. So the fact that at that time that I had a left background, I genuinely believed counted against me. That's what the producers of the programme said anyway.
Okay. Well, assuming that the SNP membership can get past failing at Masterchef
Yeah.
and elect you as the next Depute Leader.
Still a good cook.
I mean, if you're going into the Deputy position, I mean, what do you hope to achieve within the SNP in that role?
Well, for me, these have been, I mean, the last few years have been times of incredible excitement in politics. A lot of change has happened. I mean, fresh ideas have emerged and old allegiances have disappeared. And the most exciting thing for me is that we now have a different SNP now than used to exist. We have a mass political organisation which was forged out of the energy and enthusiasm of the last Scottish independence referendum campaign. And we now need to galvanise that, I think. We need to try and consolidate all of those people who've joined our party into an effective political force that is capable of providing political leadership for our country, whether that be at the level of the community or the level of the nation. And for me, two things need to happen. One is we need to consolidate our position firmly as a left of centre social democratic party. But the biggest thing we need to do, and why I'm standing, is that we need an organisational upgrade for the party. The manual that we had for 20,000 people isn't going to work with 120,000 people. So if we want to engage and involve our mass membership, we need to make a few changes, and that's really why I'm standing.
I mean, within the SNP's own ranks and within the SNP's own membership, there have been criticisms of the party overall, that the party hasn't gone far enough on land reform, or in some cases taxation, or some people think the SNP doesn't have a strong enough stance on fracking, like from within the party. I mean, is there any area, if you go into the position of Deputy Leader, that you want to almost push the SNP a little bit further on, out of its comfort zone, to sort of speak to these members?
I mean, I know why you're asking the question, and of course, what people believe in and their character is very important when you're electing anyone to a position like this. I mean, people can look at my website and see my speeches, and they know where I stand on poverty, on tax rates, on fracking, on Palestine, on a whole range of questions. But I think it's important to say that we don't make policy in the SNP by electing a Deputy Leader, or indeed by electing anyone else. We make policy involving all of our representatives of the membership at our delegate-based annual conference, and that needs to remain. But it may not be about policy this election, but I think it is about how we make policy. And I do think there's a concern in the party about the level of involvement by grassroots members and by ordinary activists in terms of formulating policy. And I think that can be changed. I don't think policy is a once-a-year thing. I think it should be year-round. I think we need a National Policy Commission that promotes policy review and discussion throughout the membership, throughout the year. And I've spelled out a whole range of mechanisms whereby I think we can get more people involved. Because the more people we have engaged and participating in making the decision, not just the better the decision in my view, but the better position we're in to campaign on it, because we've engaged all those people in arriving at that point of view.
And obviously, you've been in the party for under 2 years, been an MP for just a year now. I mean, do you think you're in a position where you can take on the deputy role without people questioning how long you've been in the party, if you're experienced enough to take on that position?
I think so. I mean, I would point out that I have been in the party longer than most of the membership, which is just an indication of what the surge in membership has been in the last 2 years. But also, I mean, I've had 4 decades experience in politics. I've been around the political bloc a few times, and I can bring all of that experience to bear to this job as well. And I mean, you know, we've got a great leadership team in the SNP. I want to join it and bring a fresh perspective. And I think we're in a position now where we don't have to stretch our existing leadership team. We can expand it. There's room for more people.